for successfully hosting the London 2012.
Thank you very much. It seems to have been many years in the planning, and I can remember talking to people in London about it before I came out here. And I think although it's in many ways a huge relief that we've succeeded in delivering the event, I think a lot of people in the UK will be very sorry to see the excitement of the last two or three weeks behind them now.
What will this success translate into, looking at Britain's role in socio-economic and political climate of the present world?
It's going to take a little while to measure the the hard-nosed economic impact. In the run-up to the Games, there was around £7 billion worth of business created by merely building the infrastructure, and this is money that was earned by British companies and international companies as well. Staying on the economic theme, we're hoping in the next few years that this will lead to approximately 12 or 13 billion pounds of investment in the UK, new business, more tourists, more investment range. But I think moving away from the hard-nosed economic side, I mean, this was the greenest Games ever. It's set a very good benchmark for future Games to take account of the environmental and climate change related aspects of holding such a major event. It's certainly brought the people of the UK together. I think it shows what an excellent place the UK is in a multicultural context. As far as I could tell sitting here, it seemed to go very well, and there's been some very good feedback from our international friends and all the countries that came over. So I think in a number of ways it's created a very positive environment for the UK, which we will do our very best to build on in the next few years.
As the Games came to an end, the British Prime Minister held a summit, Hunger Summit, wherein he invited some few heads of state, and as we speak, 500,000 people have sent in a petition to the Prime Minister. He met David Beckham recently as well on this hunger situation. Over 150 million children in the world, poorest countries, have been living in dire hunger situations. Do you think that this is the right time for Britain to lead the way forward to save children from malnourishment and acute hunger and poverty?
I think the planning for these Games was obviously, as I said, planning over many years, and I think it was always the plans of the Prime Minister and indeed the government of the day, because as you know it was the previous government who kicked this off. I think they were always planning to link the culmination of the Games with some kind of major initiative, and they've obviously chosen the issue of hunger. I think it's entirely appropriate because nobody can find any political issues with such a good subject, and there's the opportunity for all sorts of celebrities like David Beckham to get involved and promote the initiative, and raise interest around the world. So it's a good time to launch something while everybody's feeling so good, and I think it's a very worthy initiative, and it's something that goes to the heart of our aid programme. Feeding people who need feeding is absolutely vital and crucial to the way we think about this.
Looking at your CV, I marveled at the places that you have served: Bosnia, NATO, Maban. Could you tell us something about your diplomatic career?
Yes, it's a real mixture, isn't it?
It is.
I think my first posting in Switzerland was where I met my wife, and I think we realised when we moved on from Switzerland that we wanted to sort of experience real contrasts, rather than just keep going to European capitals or focus on a certain theme of work. We wanted to try and mix up my career, and Jackie herself is in the Foreign Service, and for many years we worked in the same post. So after Switzerland, we went down to the Falkland Islands. This was before the Argentines invaded. So we had a wonderful experience of a very, very remote community living way down beyond the tip of South America. And then we felt, okay, it's time to do something different again. So we went to Malaysia, and of course a vibrant city, different cultures, different communities, very different part of the world. And that's really what we've tried to do, to mix our experiences up. In Bosnia, I had the pleasure of being in an aircraft that was hit by ground fire from the Serbs, who used to lie on the hill and snipe at the aircraft that came over on their way to Sarajevo. NATO, of course, in Brussels, a very bureaucratic existence, lots of people in the office. Moscow, at the changeover between the Cold War and what followed. So we saw both and spent a slightly nervous night in our flat while a tracer was going overhead. We watched the White House being shot through by tanks. Again, close enough to see, but not too close to be in any danger. And then after a big city like Moscow, we wanted to go somewhere small, so in between a few London postings, we ended up in a very small island called Tristan da Cunha, which is another OT, overseas territory, much like the Falklands.
That's in the South Pacific?
It's the South Atlantic.
South Atlantic.
Yeah, it's midway between South America and South Africa. It takes a week to get there by fishing ship. There's no air service. So again, it was a wonderful experience. And after that, we thought, right, it's time to do our, what will probably be my last posting, back to where we're happiest, which is in Africa. I've served in northern Nigeria, in Kaduna. You mentioned Mbaban, Swaziland, which was a pleasure. And we thought the Gambia would be a real high on which to go out. So we're very lucky that I got the job, and we look forward to another year and a half or so here.
Well, Gambia being a tourist destination, predominantly we have the bulk of tourists to this country coming from the United Kingdom. How does it make you feel?
Well, Jackie and I actually came here on holiday in 2006, and I remember we were sitting on the beach up some part of Senegambia thinking, oh, we'd like to come back here. It never occurred to me at the time that I'd come back as High Commissioner, but it's a vital part of our work. I've heard different figures, but I mean 30, 40, 50, 60,000 Brits a year, plus of the many hundreds that actually live here for some or all of the year. And I think this is a traditional place for Brits to come, and I find that the ones I talk to are ones who come back every year.
جزى الله أصحاب النبي محمد جميعا كما كانوا له خير صاحبي وآل رسول الله لا زال.
وبالكواكب يا رحيم يا الله الحمد لله سي تبديلي الله حقد يواقيته يا يا الله هداك بزمز يا رمان بازقات وبالكواكب يا رحيم يا الله